The moment of the event, you have to say, is Dylan Hughes, the dozer. Just call him Neptune. He harnessed the energy of the water, and he was like one with it, man. It was really great to see. He's had 2 podiums before, but getting his win in a style like that after just a bonk, we saw all the elements combined. You know, we saw dry, we saw hot, we saw wet, we saw dry again, we saw a tornado warning. And the tornado was the dozer. Dylan Hughes delivered, man. It was awesome.
I think it's a huge victory, especially in these circumstances, right? Most people that come into the sport at a young age don't do well in these type of conditions, but Dylan looked like he'd been doing this his entire life, and probably he has, you know, given where he's from and his background and his general overall experience. So I think it's a really, really, really big thing for him to get a win here in these conditions, and totally shows him at a high level of drifting.
Round number 3 in Orlando, Dylan Hughes.
Oh my God, dude. He's trying to... Let's go! There he is!
How you're feeling with all the weather?
I was kind of saying to Lorette, like, I feel like anybody who thinks that like, this is possible for just some small town kid from Washington, right? Like, I know it's only one, but it means the world to me. And he's working for Forsberg for so many years, and he taught me pretty much everything I know. And then to be able to duke it out with him in the finals during like the sketchiest conditions of all time was just so epic. So I don't hate the rain that much.
The winner of the Royal Purple Valley, of course, Rain-X is sponsored by that. The winner here, round 3 of the Formula Jet Pro Championship. Get on up here, Dylan the Dozer.
You know, for whatever reason, like, it didn't really hit me. Like, you're kind of just, you feel like you're kind of just doing your job, right? Like, you feel like you're just like, okay, on to the next, like, focus on the next, like, we're not there yet, right? And we lined up, and I had like a quick moment before we took off, and then when I was chasing him is when it really hit me, right? Like, we initiated into the bank, and it was like pretty close, it was okay. And I had a moment where I just felt like it was just like easy. It was just meant to be, right? Like, I felt like I was just using my big toe on the throttle, and it was just, and I like had this moment on the bank behind him, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna work. Like, I can do this, right? And that feeling is something that I've never really had. I felt like time slowed down in itself, and that was a pretty wild feeling. And then, you know, we're there, we saw the run on the live stream, and I was like, oh my God, like the bank was like, we were a little bit closer. So it was a feeling that I've never had before, and it's something that I can't really describe, but it felt like everything just slowed down, like a lot. And we were just locked in the bank, and that was just exactly where we were supposed to be. So that was a pretty wild feeling for sure. You know, man, like, it really just makes me think that if you have the drive, you can do anything, right? Like, I'm just some kid from a small town in the Northwest, and took a chance, moved across the country, started working on a race team that was Chris's, and I thought drifting was the coolest thing ever. And I knew that when I found drifting, there was no question. I didn't know what I wanted to do getting out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted out of life, and I found drifting, and I knew. And that was an interesting feeling for me. So to be able to come from the Northwest, I don't really come from money. Our program is very small. It's my mom and my dad are here. It's very close family friends that we work with. We don't have a semi-truck. We don't have the biggest budget, but we have good, solid partners, you know, Royal Purple Falcon tires, and you know, it's possible. You can do it. You can do it. You just can't give up, right? Anyone can do it.